Today, we will learn about the ancient art of compression.
Some of y'all have no idea what you're doing with compressors. You're just turning the knobs up and down and just hoping it works. There's a website called CodePen, which is basically like a coding website, and this guy named Zach Hughes created this little visualizer that shows you how compression works. I'm gonna have it linked in the description as well if you want to play with this yourself and just sort of understand it by interacting with it. But I'm gonna show you what each thing does right now. So here's our waveform, of course. The first thing we have on the list is the threshold. So as you turn this up and down, you're gonna see this little gray line pop in. Essentially, this just determines where the compression is gonna happen, and anywhere above this line is gonna be compressed. Anywhere below it, nothing's gonna happen. Whenever you're in your compressor, this is gonna be represented by dB. So say this peak right here is 0 dB, and down here where the line is like negative 20 dB. Anything above that negative 20 dB to 0 is gonna get compressed, and anywhere below 20 dB is gonna be completely left alone. Now that we have the threshold kind of where we want it, nothing's happening yet, but as soon as you start to turn up the ratio, you're gonna see the compression instantly start happening. The higher you go with this, the more compact things start to get. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm just gonna leave the ratio at 3. Then you have your attack and release time. In most cases, these are gonna be represented in milliseconds. So the lower the dial is, the lower the amount of milliseconds, so that means a faster attack. And then as the dial gets higher the milliseconds, the slower the attack or release. You can see as you turn the attack time up, the peaks start to really rise. So in most cases, people keep the attack time lower. That way it brings down a lot of these crazy peaks, but you don't want it to be too slammed or it just sounds very robotic and strange. Then for the release time, this basically just determines how smoothly things fall off into the uncompressed areas. So for example, below our threshold, you can see, of course, nothing is affected in the wave. As we start to compact this more, you're gonna hear the compressed sound in this area, but then as it goes below the threshold, it's gonna sound just completely untouched. So the release time is mostly to smooth those sections out. Then down here we have the makeup or the gain. So after you've set your compression up, you want the wave to go back up to its original volume, or at least somewhere a lot higher than where it got compressed to. So you basically just turn this up until it looks or sounds right. So that's how compression works. A lot of people ask me what compressors I use, so I'm going to show you guys a couple right now. The first one is the CLA 76. This one gives you the most options out of all of the CLA compressors, though I do use multiple. This is just my favorite because you can actually adjust the attack, the release, the ratio, all that. And the other one that I use most is the CLA 3A. This one's just for minor compression, maybe a little bit on the master, maybe to add a little bit of saturation or a compact sound if I'm doing more of an aggressive song. But yeah, this one's really good too. Recently, I've been trying to learn the C4 multiband compressor because multiband things are just better overall. It gives you a lot more versatility, and if you know what you're doing with them, it can sound 10 times as good. It basically sections out certain areas such as the lows, the mids, the mid-highs, the highs, etc. And you can change where these sections are, and it's going to compress certain sections more and then leave other sections a little bit uncompressed. Whatever you do with these settings, it's going to sound different in certain frequency ranges. And so this is a lot more versatile, and if you really want to learn something from the ground up, like this is one that I would start with. Otherwise, the first two that I showed are very, very good as well. They're just a little bit less in-depth. But yeah, that's the video. Leave a like. Anyways, guys, it's been your boy MMXVII 2017. Let's get it, gang. Peace.